What if I told you that there was a class of people that is keenly aware that after this weekend, Congress will reconvene on Monday morning, September 9th, and they are just rubbing their hands together and they can't wait. This class of people is actually empowered by Congress, and the citizens, conversely, are disempowered. This class of people cannot wait for them to start talking about universal background checks and gun bans and high-capacity magazine bans and limitations on law-abiding citizens. Who is this class of people that will take every opportunity to capitalize on whatever it is Congress lays down for the common folks? What group of people is this who will benefit and always benefit from the creation of more and more laws? It is the criminal class. The criminal class who don't care about laws. They don't obey laws. They don't intend on obeying the laws. But you as a law-abiding citizen, since you've been immersed in the public school government indoctrination program, that 15,000-hour indoctrination program that taught you how to be a good little boy or a good little girl, and you've sinned against the state and the priests of the state called politicians if you disobey their commands. But the people who are actually living as free men are those so-called criminals who will not obey the laws that Congress lays down. So Congress is there, and they don't even know. Well, maybe they do. But I think a lot of people are oblivious to the fact that Congress is a criminal empowerment government body, a machine. We have to understand this, guys. And there's a couple other things that we have to understand. We have to cleanse our minds. Almost everything that we've been taught by our government indoctrination program is a lie. Let me just give you 3 examples. The word crime, the word law, and the word licensing. What is a crime? You have not committed a crime if you have not left a material victim, period. No victim, no crime. If you haven't harmed somebody, if you haven't threatened to harm them, if you haven't stolen their stuff, you have not committed a crime. Let me give you an example. I always give this example because it's black and white. It's objective. Anybody can see it. The night before Prohibition went into effect, at 11:59, you were perfectly fine drinking alcohol, selling alcohol, buying alcohol, possessing alcohol in your car. But when the clock struck 12, depending on your time zone, of course, you became, boom, a criminal by the edict of politicians. So just because somebody says you're a criminal, because you're engaging in the exact same activity 60 seconds before, or even 1 second before, that was perfectly fine, in that second, 1 second later, you're automatically a criminal? A real criminal? You may be a declared criminal, but declared criminals are not real criminals. You're only a criminal if you rip somebody off or if you harm them. Period. If there is no victim, there is no crime. You can't be a criminal just because somebody says, hey, you know that thing you're doing right there? Well, I now declare it to be illegal. And if you keep on doing it, well, you're a criminal in my eyes. That's illegitimate. That's clearly illegitimate. The second thing is laws. There is no such thing as a man-made law. Men cannot make laws. And prohibition and the drug war is another, it's the same example. If it can change, if it can be amended, it is not a law. Laws are fixed. Laws are universal. Laws stay the same throughout the test of time. The law of gravity. Law. Nobody's changing that. Law. It keeps on working. No matter where you are, it keeps on working. Men cannot create laws. So crime, the word crime is a fiction the way they define it. Laws are nothing more than the opinions of politicians backed by the threat of force. And that's exactly what it is. When they create a law and you break that law, they declare you to be a criminal. You're not a real criminal, but they declare you to be a criminal. And every one of those laws is backed by the threat of force, and that takes the form of gun violence. The state, i.e. the government, will initiate gun violence against you if you disobey their laws. I don't care if you're talking about transgressing a jaywalking law, a speeding ticket law, don't smoke in public places law, they will initiate force against you, violence against you. Men with guns will come to you. Let's say you transgress the IRS tax code law. Men with guns will come to your house and make you pay. If you resist payment, they'll arrest you. If you resist arrest, they reserve the right to take you out, to kill you. Every law is the opinion of a politician or a group of politicians backed by the threat of force. So we've defined crime. If there is no victim, there is no crime. Law, men cannot make laws. Laws are universal, they're fixed, they can't be changed. That's not the definition of a man-made law. They aren't fixed, they're not universal, and they can be changed. And number 3, licensing. Licensing is a euphemism for begging for the permission of state functionaries to do things that you have the natural right to do anyway. For example, fishing or hunting or anything like that. You're begging government to grant you permission for the right to do something you already have the right to do anyway, and it's also extortion. Licensing is extortion because you have to pay the extortion fee before you can do something that you have the natural right to do. Period. These are all objectively seen and borne out. So the bottom line is, criminals are rubbing their hands together and they can't wait for Congress to reconvene. Because when Congress makes laws against the average citizen or the law abider, criminals know that they have just become empowered by the state. They now have a safer working environment. You're basically, essentially, with these universal background checks, you're creating a registry. You're creating criminals out of peaceful people who haven't harmed or threatened to harm anyone, and criminals love it. They love it. Most real criminals, they don't mind going back to jail because it's the only place they can get 3 hots and a cot and be taken care of. They can have their Playboy magazines, they can have their cable TV, they get 3 meals a day, they get plenty of exercise. Criminals don't care. Real criminals don't care. Politicians are your enemies. They're disempowering you and empowering criminals, and don't forget that. If you guys enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give them a thumbs up, and share them with everybody you know. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.